Are you wondering what to do with your compost after it's all done in the cage? Well, this stuff is now coming down to temperature, and it's about 125 degrees, which is good. So we got this one right here, and we're about to turn it in with this pile over here that got turned out just a few days ago. We're gonna make one big pile, but here's the cool thing about this video. I'm gonna show you all the things we add to it before we leave it alone and let it become garden magic. All right, so here it is. We just took the cage off of this one, and it still has a little bit of breaking down to do, but that's okay. Now, this is 1 cubic yard of material. Over there is the equivalent of 1 cubic yard material. Together, obviously, they're gonna be 2. They're gonna break down. When it's all said and done, it's gonna be considerably less. But the good thing about it is there is no reason whatsoever at this point, when they are done, remember, to be composted, it has to come to ambient temperature, and it was hot enough, long enough, pretty much all of it. There's parts of it here at the top that haven't been. It's not the end of the world. They're not gonna be using this stuff next week. Don't worry, we'll come to that in a minute. So right now, this is kind of critical. I got a pitchfork here. It works better when you have about a 3-times pitchfork. Every part of the way, when you flip a pile, you wanna shake it out. You want to shake, shake, shake. Now, at this point, there is no reason or need for me to basically get a hold of this thing and have any concern about what's the bottom, what's the top. It doesn't matter. At this point, we're in the curing process. We got a few things like some of these chicken feathers that haven't processed, like you can see right here. But before long, the bacteria, the fungi, the nematodes, the protozoa, all those things basically are still working on their smorgasbord, and as you can tell, it's still hot. That's okay. When we put this one with that one over there, there's still a little bit of residual heat in that one as well. They're basically going to reheat again, and we're going to do a couple of things to help it reheat. So if you got areas that haven't quite broken down as much as you like, we're going to show you one of the easiest and coolest ways that we use to heat up a pile. Now, first things first, I'm going to get this in the wheelbarrow, and I'm going to show you the one key ingredient that we use to get this thing really, really kicking. All right, so the first part that came out of that cage is right down here. Now, every step of the way, you're gonna wanna check your moisture. And I got these gloves on for a reason, because there's parts of this that aren't completely broken down, which is normal and it's okay. But I wanna make sure I grab multiple places of this, and I'm gonna squeeze it. Now, this is gonna be hard to convey on camera, but you can probably see a little bit of moisture coming up through my hands. Okay, this is just a tad bit too wet, but it's not the end of the world, because this over here is a tad bit, well, that's a little wet too, but it's all right. It's not the end of the world. Now, here's one of the critical things that we do when we get to this point, because everybody thinks that composting has to be, and I'm using the gloves because, like I said, there's some things in there that could very well be pathogens. So that's why I got the gloves right now. Now, we explain this in greater detail on Patreon. This is really this simple, and you don't need anything I'm about to use, but there's a reason I'm using it. We got some biochar here. Got this from the Farm Connection. Okay, I don't really need that, but it was a recommendation from Jack Spearco a while ago. I've been doing it, and I'm pretty happy with it for a whole variety of reasons. Now, in here we got some organic Quaker oats. They're steel cut oats, and this is meant to feed fungus. Okay. And got that one from Jeff Lawton. Over here, volcanic rock dust, and I got this one from Stefan Subkowiak. Now, it's really this simple as we go through and we layer this. All I'm going to do is take some of that pile over there, put it down, take some of this pile, put it down, and then there's no rhyme or reason. There's no set way of going about this, but I'm literally going to take. Some people would prefer to charge this stuff afterwards, but I'm not going to use a whole lot of this. Now, this stuff here, you can't put too much. This is fungal food right here. Because we're in the curing process, I'm probably going to turn this. I'll come back and check it in 2 weeks, but the chances are I wouldn't have to, because at this point, we're just going to let it sit here and cure. I'm just going to put some of these oats down. That's going to help feed my fungus. Now, keep in mind, the fungus isn't doing anything when this pile is still hot. It's when it cools off and it starts to get cooler and cooler, even though there's a ton of fungal food in there, we're only going to add more. And then this volcanic rock dust, Same thing. I'm just going to sprinkle this stuff all over just like that. And having done this so many times, I know, even though I'm a little high on the moisture side, it's not the end of the world, because I know some of this stuff to a certain extent is going to suck it back up. Now, I'm going to take this pitchfork that I swear was forged in the heart of a dying star. That's how heavy this thing is. And all I'm going to do is sprinkle some of this out there. I'm just get a little bit of this, put it on there. Now, the moisture ain't so bad underneath. I got some of that down there, and it's really, I mean, no rhyme or reason, nothing fancy about it. Put some more of that volcanic rock dust, put down some biochar. Now, some people are going to say that the biochar is going to rob this and that. Basically, the biochar is acting as apartments for all the little microbes. That's really, and there's a bunch of different ways you can go about charging this stuff. You can use the digestive system of an animal. In this case, we got a pile that's doing its thing, and we're using so little of it that it's not robbing anything. And plus, I think the jury's out on a lot of that other stuff. Now, I'm gonna go over here, we'll get another wheelbarrow worth, drop it on this pile, and we're just gonna continue to layer all the way through. Alrighty. Okay, there's comfrey, and a lot of it. We've talked about it a million times, but Janet has something of a comfrey patch over here. It looks like some marigolds coming up out of there too. And then we got some comfrey over here. Now, I'm just gonna take one leaf. I'm sure she won't mind. So, you need to heat up that pile. Like I told you a minute ago, this is what you wanna use, but we brought some older stuff from the house. Let's show you how we use it. All right, so let's say you got a pile that ain't quite broken down the way you would. Like I said, if I left this one alone, it'd be perfectly fine, but I got a lot of comfrey leaves that Michelle has left over from all the people that were ordering comfrey. By the way, I know people were disappointed we didn't have it in stock, but we had a lot going on over the last week, so we took it off. But anyway, it's back on. So if you need any of this stuff, go to the website. We'll get you squared away. Well, the cool thing about that comfrey, not only is it an awesome dynamic accumulator, meaning that it's taking all those wonderful things down in your soil, bioaccumulating it into the leaves, it's now one of the best ways to get this pile hot. So you just stick it right there in the middle, grab a hold of your pitchfork. Well, let me get one that isn't quite as heavy. And then it's as simple as this. I mean, there's other things you could use. If you had other leaves, I prefer comfrey because I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm gonna heat this thing up and I'm gonna be doing a number of other things. Now, as we've been going through, it's really the whole way up to this point, it's been taking the volcanic rock dust, getting some of that on there, biochar, getting some of that on there, and then of course the last part, and we're about to the end of it here, is going to be our steel cut organic oats. And you can't go too much on any of that, so we'll just go ahead and dump that in there, get the rest of it on, and then we'll show you what we do. It's really this simple, y'all. So you've never seen it from us. Well, no, you have. I mean, we've done so many different composting videos, it's hard to remember exactly what applications I've shown you on YouTube and which ones you've seen on Patreon. Well, normally the heady stuff we save for Patreon. But anyway, this is it in a nutshell. So as you can see, you can still see some of this stuff is identifiable. You see some white stuff on there. It's not actinobacteria. It's honestly some of that volcanic rock dust. And this is basically an amalgamation of, I don't even know how many different people all into one pile. Now, we're underneath, you know, we got a little bit of tree cover here, which is cool. We got a ditch over there. Anyway, it's at one of the higher points, so it's not actually going to collect a lot of water. Now, got a lot of tent spikes right here, right? Stopped at Walmart on the way. Sorry, there ain't a Costco nearby. And I'm just going to basically, at this point, grab a hold of this tarp, and I'm going to yank it over the top of here. And the way we're going to do this is obviously I'm going to hit it with a couple of stakes here. But I'm also going to make sure this thing breathes. I don't want to stake it so hard to the ground that it doesn't have any airflow. So you want to make sure it's there. You want to make sure you have airflow. Obviously, the water's good on it. Everything's good. The only thing to do at this point is to get this squared away, and then I'm just going to leave it. We can leave it until, I'm going to check it 2 weeks from now. And then we'll do another video and I'll show you where it is. But honestly, before long, this stuff is absolutely going to blow your mind. Now, I wanted to film this because there were a few things that were done during this video in the making of this that didn't exactly go absolutely perfect. And that's for all you people out there that think, oh, a lot of you are overthinking it. You're thinking, okay, well, what about this? What about that? I'm going to show you just how forgiving this whole process can be. And we're using biology to do all the work for us. So it's really just stick this thing down, stick these stakes in. Oops, as soon as I don't put it in a place where there's a depression, get these stakes in the ground, cover it up, make sure it breathes, and then I'll check it in 2 weeks. This is a hybrid of probably the Berkeley method, the chicken tractor on steroids method, Elaine Ingham's method. There's a bunch of different methods in here, but it wasn't perfect. And like I said, this video is for all of you people out there that are thinking, well, I didn't do this right, I didn't do that right. Look, I just showed you a way. You can heat this thing back up if you want to. Not necessary at all, but it's one thing you can do. So that's really it in a nutshell. So if you need any of the comfrey that I showed you that we have in the middle of this pile right now, go check us out at permapasturesfarm.com. If you need anything else, go check us out at the website. We're slowly getting the wheels moving again around here. And I'm out here at Cloud9 Farm, Blueberry Farm, and they do a lot of other cool things around here. They got events, they got a lot of great things. So if you're in Western North Carolina and you need one awesome, relaxing Airbnb to hang out, go give Janet a call at Cloud9 Farm. You're going to be glad you did. And I'm going to stake this thing down, and I'll be back to it in a couple of weeks. Until next time, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy from Permapastures Farm, where permaculture is my passion. We'll see y'all next time.